Dobrý dan. I will also switch to English because I've just reached the limits of my Slovakian. So, we've heard a little bit about AI today on the panel with a bunch of the speakers. Today I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I come from a security vendor, and so I'll talk to you a bit about the threat and then wrap it up with a little bit of a tie to AI and machine learning as well. First, I'm going to talk about cryptojacking, one of the threats that may seem like it's the be-all and end-all of the threat landscape these days. It's been in the news a lot in the last 18 months. First, let me explain what cryptojacking is, and by doing that, let's talk a little bit about crypto mining. And crypto mining, very simply, is creating value in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Monero, any of these cryptocurrencies. And to do that, you have to mine for hashes. You have to solve algorithms and hashes. And if you do that correctly, you get to add a block to the blockchain, you get a reward in coins, and that's what we call crypto mining. And that's all very perfectly legal, and it's something that a lot of people like to do. Cryptojacking, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Cryptojacking is crypto mining without consent. And let me explain cryptojacking a little bit better by way of an analogy. Think about it this way. Think about if you own your own taxi and you prefer to drive during the day, and so at night you come home and you park your car in the driveway, have dinner with your family, go to bed, and start over the next day. Now, I'm a bad guy. I come along and I take your taxi because I've been watching you, right? That's what bad guys do. They watch you when you're not looking. And I go and take your taxi when you're in bed, and I drive it around all night, and I pick up fares, I make a lot of money, but I'm using your gas, your brakes, your tires, I'm wearing down your car, I'm wearing down your resources while also making profit for myself. And that's very much what cryptojacking is. It's using somebody else's resources for your own profit. And let me show you a couple examples, at least 4 examples, of how cyber criminals today are using the concept of cryptojacking to make money for themselves. The first one here is something called PyPy. Now, this was a script. It doesn't matter that you can't see. I'm going to explain to you exactly what it is that you can't see. What this was a Python repository, a module that was put into one of the big repositories that, instead of doing what it said it was going to do, actually started cryptojacking users themselves. And the way that this particular module worked is the author behind this module, the cyber criminal, actually made a small typing change. So instead of having Colorama was the type of the package itself, and instead of spelling it the American way, they spelt it the British way, or British and Canadian way. And so users who downloaded this package, what they would get was a special little module that monitored their clipboard, looked for Bitcoin addresses, and whenever it saw one, it replaced your Bitcoin address with his. And so anytime you did a transaction, he would get the proceeds. And so this is an example of stealing directly from the users. Another example is a campaign called Apple Juice, which happened very recently, just a couple months ago, where some allegedly North Korean actors from the Lazarus Group, you might have heard of them, they sent around an email, a phishing email, saying, we've got this great new software for cryptocurrency trading. Now, this was directed at the exchanges, the people that actually take your real money and translate it into fake crypto money. What these guys did, though, is they made a little change to the program as well. When you installed it, everything was fine. But like many programs, the first thing it does once it comes online is it updates itself. And when it updated itself, it grabbed another package, installed it, and then backdoored this particular piece of software. And now, whoever had access to the other side of this backdoor was able to walk into any of the crypto exchanges that installed this and allegedly take all they wanted from those computers. So this is an example of supply chain compromise and how we can break into exchanges themselves and steal all the crypto coins. Now, one way to do cryptojacking or crypto mining is through the browser. And to do this, you either have to infect a lot of websites or infect one website with a lot of traffic. Well, some cyber criminals noticed recently that there was a vulnerability in these MikroTik devices, which are installed at the core of many internet service providers. And they noticed that they could install code on these things. So they thought, well, instead of compromising the websites, or many websites, let's just compromise the traffic that is serving the users of this ISP as well as many of the websites that are associated with it. So simply by going through this device, the criminals were able to use your CPU to mine for crypto coins. In this case, it was Monero, and were able to allegedly make a lot of money. Now, when I checked online, there were 4 million of these devices that were visible, and to date, as of last week, there are 155,000 of them that were infected with CoinHive crypto mining malware. Now, that's good news because a month ago it was 300,000, so things are coming down. And then finally, another way you could do it is to install software directly on the machine and use the machine's power to mine for crypto coins. Now, if it's on a desktop, that might be okay, but imagine putting this on a server, a nice, big, juicy Xeon server with all the processing power that it has. What this particular crypto miner does is it will use tools that you use yourself to administer your machines, like PowerShell, like the Windows management instrumentation, the Windows scripting host, against you. It will use these scripts to basically load the malware into memory so that it no longer appears on disk. So this is what we call fileless malware. And it lives off the land, meaning it uses the tools at its disposal on the computer to make all of this happen. It's also using some exploit techniques. And it's very aggressive in making sure that it's the only crypto miner that's on that box. It will shut down any other crypto miner that finds its way on that box to make sure that they're the only ones that are making money off of your CPU power. So those are 4 examples of how some cyber criminals are using crypto miners and cryptojacking to their benefit. And some of you might be wondering, well, is it worth it? Is this why all of a sudden there's been this explosion of cryptojacking? Well, if you look at some of the browser-based stuff, it doesn't appear to be making that much money. A lot of these campaigns make in the area of single-digit dollars, maybe hundreds of dollars. Ghostminer itself, you can see, has had a couple spikes, but to date has only really made around 219 euros. And so it doesn't appear to be that promising as far as a money-making adventure for the cyber criminals. But think of it this way. If I can infect your computer with this, I can probably put on a keylogger or turn it into a bot as well. And so this, to me, is just gravy. This is just an additional way of making profit, an additional way of making money off of your resources. It might be better off I mentioned the apple juice campaign, you might be better off going to the exchanges themselves, right? There's an old saying which is, why do the thieves rob banks? Well, that's where the money is. Well, why do people go after cryptocurrency exchanges? Because that's where all the crypto coins are. And they can take those and then subsequently, potentially, turn them into money. So the lesson might be you steal Bitcoin and you mine for Monero, but really what's happening here is cyber criminals don't care how they monetize you. They will take any and every advantage they can to make money off of your resources. So that's why I say think and, not or, when it comes to ransomware versus crypto mining, really versus anything else. Ransomware has not gone away. As a matter of fact, it's gotten a lot more serious in the last couple years. This is just one example of the way that ransomware criminals have changed their game a little bit. The SamSam gang is responsible for, to date, over 6 million euros worth of profit from people like you, your companies, and the people that you deal with. These guys will break into a company by any means necessary. They will phish you for your credentials. They will use exploits against your servers. Or, more commonly, they will just find an RDP server, remote desktop protocol server, that you left on the internet, and they will brute force the access to that server. And once they are in, that's where the damage starts. They will do reconnaissance, figure out where everything is in your network, delete your backups, turn off the rest of them, disable all your administrator accounts, elevate their privileges whenever possible, and while you're sleeping, they will encrypt all of your machines all at once. So now, instead of asking 400, 500 euros for a single infection of ransomware, they will ask 50,000, 60,000, because now all of a sudden they own your entire company. And we've seen other gangs now, like everything else in the cyber criminal world, other gangs have seen the success and the profit that these guys are making, and they've started emulating and copying what these guys are doing. So Dharma and BitPaymer are just a couple examples of other campaigns that have switched to this model. So you still have the garden variety opportunistic cyber criminals, which are doing ransomware the old way. You've got these guys who are also, you're at their mercy. If they want to also cryptojack you, they can, and they often do. So to wrap it up and to bring it around back to machine learning and AI, we're using a lot of this technology, this machine learning technology, to block things like SamSam, to block the cryptojacking malware out there. So if you want to learn more about that, come talk to us in the hall. And with that, I thank you very much.